I made a video recently talking about how to get incredibly strong, and in this video I mentioned the importance of programming. I talked about Candido 6 week, and I talked about starting strength as some recommendations for beginners looking to get into strength programming. On this video I got a whole bunch of comments asking, where is GZCLP? And you're 100% right to comment. That is an incredibly valid program, and I'm going to talk about it today. When you first start looking into this program, it looks incredibly complicated, but it's actually very simple once you start getting into it. Now, I've never actually ran this program, but from a programming point of view, from a nerd's point of view, I'm going to tell you what's good, what's bad, whether you should run it, whether you shouldn't run it, and ultimately what I think about it. So this program has you working out 3 to 4 times a week because this is because you're working out every second day. It splits exercises into 3 tiers. There's tier 1 exercises, which are going to be the primary movement, so that's your squat, bench, deadlift, and then this program also includes overhead press. And then there's tier 2, which is also compound movements. However, these are going to be done for slightly higher reps. And then tier 3, which are going to be the tertiary exercises. These are just going to be your standard powerlifting accessory movements. Pretty much the way it's run is workout 1 is going to be 5 sets of 3 for the tier 1 exercise, so it's 5 sets of 3 of squats with 85% of your 5 rep max. And then the last set is going to be an AMRAP. And we're going to keep this format going for everything. Then you're going to do your tier 2 exercise, so it's going to be 3 sets of 10 for bench. And then the tier 3, the tertiary, is going to be lat pull downs. It's going to be 3 sets of 15. And you're going to do an AMRAP on the last set. So you continue to follow this format of you do tier 1 5x3, tier 2 3x10, and tier 3 3x15. And for the tier 1 and tier 3, you do an AMRAP on the last set. So once again, this seems complicated, but you get into it and then it's easy. And then pretty much every single week, every single new cycle, you're going to add 10 pounds to this until you fail. And then once you fail, the tier 1 goes from becoming a 5x3 to a 6x2. And then from a 6x2 to a 10x1. So yeah, 10 singles. And then the tier 2 compound goes from a 3x10 to a 3x8 to a 3x6. So the tier 1 is going to be sort of progressed independently from the tier 2 exercises. And it all depends on when you fail. Now, while this is linear periodization, there's also an aspect of block periodization in this because it goes from 5x3 to 6x2 to 10x1, and so you can separate this into 3 different blocks which have their own individual functions. Another great thing about this is that the tier 2 exercises provide hypertrophy work for the compound lifts, which is very important. Another great thing to this program is it's very simple. Although it doesn't seem like it's simple, I get you hear me talking about it, you're like, what the fuck is this? It's very simple. You just have to run it out a little bit, and then once you get it, and it becomes very auto-regulated. So one plus of this is that it's very simple, and it's auto-regulated. You can run this stuff very mindlessly. It also provides a periodization to your training that, once again, is mindless. Because as I said before, periodization and organization of your training is one of the most important factors to achieving very significant strength gains. You can't get very strong without organizing your training. And organizing your training is exactly what this program does. Now, the sort of rep ranges and sets are pretty decent, while for the more advanced strength training programs, there's typically a top set back down approach, such as a 1x3 and then a 3x5 or something like that. This program doesn't have that, but I don't see that as the end of the world, as the target demographic for this program is going to be mostly beginners and intermediate lifters. So the fact that it's straight sets and not a sort of top set back down approach is fine in my opinion. That being said, it could be improved with the top set back down approach. And the straight sets that it does have are pretty decent, except for a 10x1. I think 10 singles in one workout is a little bit much, a little bit too excessive. I also think that one of the bigger downsides of this program is that it tells you to max out for a new 5 rep max and not go for a 1 rep max. Now, I get it, this is more safe and more conducive to long-term goals, but at the end of the day, the reason that we're doing strength training programs is to get a better 1 rep max, and so in my opinion, the ending of strength training programs should end in a 1 rep max because that's ultimately what we're training for. Now, this program has a lot of singles, so we get a lot of practice doing singles, and so that obviously will increase our 1 rep max. And if we increase our 5 rep max, that will increase our 1 rep max. but training for a 1 rep max is more fun. And also training for a 1 rep max specifically is a bit different than training for a 5 rep max. So ultimately, I love this program. I think it's great that it's auto-regulated, it's very simple, and it provides organization to your training, which is vital to achieving significant strength gains. That being said, I think it could benefit from a sort of top set back knot approach. I also think that having a 10x1 is a little bit excessive and that you don't need to do 10 singles in a row. Ultimately, what do I think of this program? I think it's amazing. And I think that if you're a beginner or intermediate, then you should definitely run it. But if you're more advanced, then it probably won't 100% work for you because generic programs don't work for very advanced athletes. That being said, definitely give it a go. If you're newer or intermediate, I'm almost certain that's going to work. It's probably on par with Candido 6 week. If you'd like me to compare these two, let me know in the comment section down below. Write down your questions and see you guys next time. It's an awesome program.